This series was co-produced with HMP Berwyn and funded by the National Lottery Community Fund.
Hey there, welcome to the Recovery Hub podcast by Eternal Media. In this episode, you're about to hear a conversation that took place in the Recovery Factory in Berwyn Prison. This episode features me, Lucke, as well as Sam from Eternal Media and Alex, who you may remember from our episodes with North Wales recovery communities during season 1 of the Recovery Hub podcast. In this episode, we sat down with Adam and Macauley to talk about what recovery has been like for them in prison. They tell us how recovery compares on the inside to the outside and what can be done to improve the chances of recovery in prison. Alright, that's it for the intro. Into the conversation.
I got into drugs when my children got taken from me. Basically, it was just a big situation at home. Obviously, social services become involved. A few lies told. So I ended up getting into it because of that. And from there onwards, it was just a downhill run. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, it went on to shoplifting. It just spiraled out of control. Do you know what I mean? And it just got to the point where I couldn't control it any longer. So it did. You know, obviously then it ends up in jail. It's just a never-ending story, do you know what I mean? Like I say, I wish I could turn back the clocks now, but it's not going to happen, is it? The only thing you can do is look to the future and try and better yourself. Do you know, obviously, like I say, it's hard in here, but it's one of them things, do you know, we'll always try, won't we?
It started alcohol when I was 16, got in a relationship when I was 18 with someone that was addicted to cocaine, and that's where my life started on drugs, through just cocaine. And I started finding that I lost a lot of family, and then at the age of 24 I had a little girl, and then I lost contact with her last year through just constant lies, cocaine and alcohol. Like, I put drugs before my family, and then I ended up losing my job, and now I'm in prison. So I'm just looking for a way to come away from that sort of situation, environment, 100%.
So when you guys were doing drugs, like at the start, what was it doing for you? Like, what did it give you when you were doing drugs at the beginning?
So, as I say, I lost my kids, so it was that escape. So it was just like, even if it was, you know, I'd smoke some heroin or whatever, it just gave me that release for, even if it was for 10 minutes, I'd be away from that situation, it wouldn't be on my mind, you know. But as they say, I've started to learn now where it's not a good place to be, because then you're not dealing with them issues. You're then just packing away them issues into your back pocket or whatever, and then they're always going to come back and bite you. It's a hard life to live in it, you know what I mean? There's nothing you can really say, but yeah, that's kind of me.
Was heroin the first drug that you taken?
No, so when I was 16, I started smoking a bit of weed, but it was manageable then. When I think I was 18, when I had my daughter, when I had that big blow, it was from then onwards. A lad actually offered it to me, so my so-called friend, he's come to me, and I'd had a little argument with me kid's mother, so I was calming down. I suffer from ADHD, so I was calming down downstairs. Come downstairs, I was calming down for 5 minutes, and this lad actually come down and offered me gear. Do you know what I mean? I knew what it was, but I didn't know what a physical addiction was, what the withdrawal symptoms were. So then me binging on that for 3 days, it then, you know, it had me then, do you know, and the rest of it's just my life story, do you know, and now I'm here. Obviously it's not a nice situation to be in, but as I say, you can only try and better yourself, can't you?
So had you had any recovery before you came into prison?
So yeah, I'd had recovery in the community and stuff like that, but I don't find it worked. To me, there's too much freedom. I was going back out, I was with the same group of people, I was doing the same things. Like, one thing with recovery is you have to change the people that you're with. Do you know what I mean? Because otherwise you'll always have that negative influence around you, and it just does not help you whatsoever. And I've learned that the hard way. Do you know, I can say that from experience, and it's not a very good situation to be in. If I could give anyone some advice, it's just don't do it in the first place. Do you know what I mean? Go and seek help. Go and speak to someone. If you've got thoughts on your mind, go and talk to someone. Don't sit there and bottle it up like I did, because it's no good for you.
And what about you? Have you had any recovery before? Have you tried to get into?
Yes, I started a group called NA, Narcotics Anonymous.
Okay.
I was doing that for 6 months before I came into prison.
Okay.
And I was 6 months clean. and now I'm in prison. I'm totally 9 months clean from cocaine. It was a massive help. I had to change every single friend I had.
Sure.
Literally, I come off social media. That was a big help, so I couldn't get hold of it.
Yeah.
Eve got rid of my phone, and I just started working again. It takes your mind off an addiction. It does. Having a priority in life. So it's so much better when you start working, changing your friends. Then my family started to come back to me, and that felt just amazing. I did. And now when I get out, I'm gonna carry on going to Narcotics Anonymous meetings and staying focused on being clean. It's the main goal.
So, what was life like for you when you were doing drugs? Like when you were in it, like what did the drugs do for you?
I got to the point where I started robbing. It was chaos, really. Hell. It was just your life just depends on cocaine. Like that just becomes an everyday thing in the end. Started off from partying and clubbing, just doing it on a one-off on a Saturday night, and then it just becomes a mad addiction. It just comes out of the blue. You don't expect it. You don't know you're addicted, and then people are telling you that you're addicted. You're like, nah, I'm not. Bunch of crap. And then, don't know, it's got to take you to either come to prison or something for you to realise that you were addicted to it.
When did you realise that you were first addicted?
When I started spending every single bit of my wages on it.
With me, yeah, because I'm in recovery as well. It's the same, isn't it? You know, I started taking substances because life for me was really I was quite uncomfortable as a human being without a substance in me. And when I took a substance, I felt better. Everything felt better. And it started with alcohol and things like that when I was young. I ended up working in the wine trade, running wine bars and stuff like that. And I felt better when I drank. And, you know, then I discovered cocaine, which stopped me from getting drunk so I could drink more. So I just felt better and better. And everything I did, and then it got to the point where it's, you know, it's progressive, isn't it? You need to take more and more, and it kind of stopped working, and then you get the paranoia starts and the psychosis, and then you want to stop, and you just find that you can't stop. There's no fun, there's no enjoyment, but you're completely powerless. I did all the normal stuff you do as well, you know, moving jobs, countries, partners, reinventing myself. This time, I'm going to do it. This time I've got control. I know what happens, and I'd end up using again. So I definitely identified that once you're in that place, once you've crossed that line, where you realise that you're not in control, you can't stop, you know. I was lucky as well to find 12-step fellowship, so CA, but so it doesn't matter which one you do. And yeah, so that's nearly 5 years ago. I work in recovery now. And all those things you talk about losing, you know, I lost my house, I was unemployable, my health, my family has all come back, and I guess that's what's on offer with recovery, isn't it? It unlocks your potential, you know. I didn't know that I could actually feel differently as a human, so all the reasons I needed to take drugs in the first place, working in a recovery program has replaced that. So yeah, I'm excited for you guys. You know, you can use this as an opportunity. Forcibly, your environment's changed, hasn't it? So you don't have that influences.
I find in here that like the environment's not very good, and I think recovery is so much harder in prison because you've got that so much negative influence around you, and no matter how much they say that, you know, it's not on our wing, it is. Do you know what I mean? Whether you like it or not, it might not be hard drugs, it might just be like spice and stuff, do you know what I mean? But it's still there, and you've still got that choice. Do you know what I mean? Like, since I've been in here, I've managed to go from 40 mm down to 10, do you know, and I've just asked to reduce again today, and I'm, like you just said there, I'm excited to get to your point, do you know what I mean? That's where I want to be. Like, I have burned so many bridges with my family, it's unreal. My aunties, my uncles, they will not answer the phones to me anymore. They just want me to see me sorted. Like, another thing, my nan, before she, God rest her soul, you know, she passed away now, but before she died, she said to me, all I want to see is you sorted, and I couldn't even provide that to her. But I understand being an addict a lot more now. It's not just me wanting to do it, it's an illness as well. It's like a disease. I see it as a disease, do you know. it's my choice, but it's not my choice. It's that monkey on my shoulder always saying, yeah, go on. Do you know? And like I say, I'm excited to get to your point. I really am, like, yeah.
Yeah, I can imagine it is a lot harder in here. I suppose it's about finding people that have got the same goal as you, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
Within here, the people that are looking for recovery as well.
Yeah. Do you know, you like you just said there, yeah, you do. You get the actual genuine people that, you know, that they want to get off the drugs. You know, you try and get this out there, and it's a lot harder. Like I say, you can't just be moving every day and stuff like that. So you've got to choose wisely in that. But you get people like that who want to encourage you and want to help you along the right path. But then you get the for the other lads on the wing that want to sell you the spice, that want to, you know, do all that with you, and it's just not a good situation to be in. But it's all about control, and it's all about, you know, asking your SMS team for support and stuff like that, which I do on a daily basis. You know, I'm sure they're getting sick of me by now, but you know, they're there to help me, and that's what I use them for, and that's how I see it. I'd encourage everyone, you know, if you need help, like I say, don't sit there in silence. Go and help. Go and ask for the help. Go and ask for the support.
Yeah. So what do you think? What would help your recovery in here?
I would say a lot more drug rehabilitation meetings in prison.
Okay, access to meetings.
Yeah, access to meetings, definitely. Say about 2 to 3 times a week.
Yeah.
Maybe a private social worker or something.
So you're smiling because
I am smiling, but just because that's how I got well, was having that access and and meetings and stuff, being with like-minded people, being with people that were recovered. That was a changing point for me, to know it works. You know, when you hear someone, because you think, I'm different from everyone, it's not going to work for me. I've been trying for 20 years to get clean. You know, nothing works. And then you meet someone and they've got a story, and, you know, maybe their rock bottom was lower than yours, and it's always going to happen. And you're like, wow, they've done it.
As they always say, once you hit rock bottom, there's only one way up, isn't there? There's only one way to go, and that's up.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But like, I agree with you as well. Like the group situation, do you know, it, like I say, they run like Gamblers Anonymous in here, but they don't run the NA or the CA or the AA, which is, you know, it's hard for us. But, you know, I suppose, like, if you had the right group of lads on the wing, you could do one yourself on the wing, couldn't you, at the end of the day? Do you know what I mean? But it doesn't have to be within a group, does it? You can get them like-minded people and just get together and talk every day. Like, I come over here for acupuncture, that helps. It calms me down. It chills me out. Then we've got like your nudge group, which is your spice group, it's really good about, you know, even though I'm not smoking spice, it's good education. The groups do work, and I totally agree with you there. You know, that'd be a good thing if there was a lot more things available in here. You know, they throw you in a workshop like this, it's not a drug recovery workshop. We're not doing recovery. We're sitting here cutting a rag, but, you know, I suppose, you know, it would help, wouldn't it, if we had stuff like that in here? Definitely. Yeah. I definitely agree with that. You know, if the officers were educated a bit more as well, that'd be a big help for us, because then they don't understand that they're put into this job so quickly. It's not fair on them. Do you know what I mean? They have the fast track course and that, don't they? So they don't know. I'm not saying they don't know what they're doing, because they do, but, you know, it'd be better if they'd have a bit of education about recovery. If someone would say, right, look, you know, these lads need an extra push in the morning, go in and say, are you okay today? Do you know what I mean? And then that obviously bridges the gap then, doesn't it? It's an icebreaker, do you know what I mean? And they could come to you and say, no, I'm not feeling too good today.
Yeah, that's definitely.
So what kind of stuff is like on offer to do anyway? Like, I know you say what you have, what you want, but what do you have? Like,
we have acupuncture, don't we? Acupuncture, the nudge group, which is regarding spice. Okay. You have so you do have monthly meetings with your SMS workers as well, which is quite good. You know, if you've got any like you know, thoughts from over the month and that you can share it with them and stuff. You know, they do meet with you on a regular. I'm not sure what other groups, you know, any other groups have got on offer.
I don't, to be honest, still too big.
That's what I'm saying. We're not really educated on them. We're just like, we'll go into a monthly meeting and they'll go, right, oh, I think you should do this group, I think you should do that group, you know. And like I say, that's why I'm on nudge, I'm on acupuncture now, but I don't really know if there's any other groups, to be honest.
What do you get out of those?
So obviously at the end you get a certificate, you know, but I don't think it's not about that, do you know what I mean? It's just about getting educated. Like they do, like you have a TED talk, they'll come and show you TED talk, stuff like that, and then we'll discuss them afterwards. Do you know what I mean? It gets you enlightened. It gets you to know, you know, how other people are suffering. It's like you said before, it's not just me. You know, obviously he's suffering as well. You might be suffering, you know, and you start learning things about people and you start understanding them. Wow, it's not just me. I'm not just this only person who's got this issue. You know, and I find it makes me a bit more comfortable with it. Do you know, I do worry a lot, but I'm autistic, so I sit there and I'm thinking, oh, no, do you know what I mean? I'm the only person that's like this. I'm hard done by, but it's not. I know I've put myself in that situation, but there's 20 other people that are in that situation as well.
So do you think having access to things like podcasts, if you could hear other guys who were in your situation telling about what they do to get well, do you think that would help?
Yeah, that would be quite a big help.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I
Inspiring hearing of people's stories. Yeah.
When you hear someone else succeeding, I think you want to succeed yourself, and that's how I find it. Yeah. If I like, I've just heard your story then, and you're succeeding. So that thing, like, to me now, I want to get off that 10mm meth, and I want to succeed, and I want to be in that position, you know, a year from now when I'm due to leave. It's just all about doing the work, innit, and just getting the right environment. And
I mean, from where I'm sitting, I hear 2 success stories. You're coming up for 9 months clean.
Yeah.
And you're down to 10mm meth. For me, that's something to share. That's something for you guys to talk about.
That's what, like, I find I'm a very kind of like, I'm a bit negative sometimes. And like my OMU worker, my offender management worker, she always says to me, look on the positive, do you know? And like she said the other day, look, you've got down to 10mm, that's a positive. So you've always got to look on the positives. I think with us being addicts, we always look for the negatives. Oh, I relapsed then. Well, you know, you've been 9 months clean. Like if you were to relapse, you've been 9 months clean though, haven't you? Do you know what I mean? So it's not a negative, it's a positive. You know, you've had that one stepping stone, but you can still carry on that journey, can't you? That's how I see it anyway, but yeah.
How long between both of you have you been in the factory for?
So I've been in here about 2 weeks now, something like that. See, I was originally in another prison, so I started my reduction, and I had that in my head when I come in here, that I wanted to get off that. So okay. that's my journey. Like in here, I've maybe dropped say 5-10mm, but that's my ideology now. I want off that methadone.
Where were you before?
I was in HMP Alt course. The recovery there is, I've got to say, like, it is amazing. It's brilliant there. They've got specialist wings that are dedicated, a detox wing, and then a drug-free wing. So it's brilliant. I think if they had something like that here, it would really work. They've got a recovery wing, but they haven't got a drug-free wing.
Yeah, that would definitely work. That would.
You're on it, yeah. And if they actually, you know, if they screen the people that were to go on there, right, this person, you know, he's suitable for this wing. He's not taking no drugs. He's give 10 weeks worth of tests, clean, whatever. I think something like that would work. Even though you've got certain amounts of groups and that, like in Alt course we had NA, we had CA, we had AA, you know, and that was an ongoing weekly thing. Like the officers would stay in after the time to go home and take us over to the library. I think it was like 6:30 till 7 or 6:30 till 7:30, something like that. So I think they need to offer a lot more support in here before more people are going to get along that path, you know, rather than just leaving them to their own devices kind of thing, and then them getting caught up with that wrong group of people.
Yeah.
How did it feel when you get transferred?
Always daunting, do you know what I mean? Because you're worrying about your script, you're worrying about everything. Like, you know, I didn't have my best time when I first come here either, do you know what I mean? And I won't get into that, but it wasn't good. Being transferred, it's always, you don't know where you're going, you don't know if your stuff's coming with you, do you know, it's a bad situation to be in. But now I'm here and now I'm settled. As I say, I'm autistic, I've got Asperger's, so it takes me a lot to get settled in, but now I am settled, I am comfortable here, do you know? And it's like the staff, the staff in this workshop, they will help you, they'll come and have a chat with you, they'll ask you if you're doing okay today. That's what the officers need to be like. That's how I see it anyway, personally.
For yourself, I didn't see you here the last time we were here. How long have you been on the factory for?
I've been on the factory for just over a month now, and it's definitely taken my mind off things in the day. 100%. Like, it's good to keep occupied, just working, socialising with different people off other wings. The staff are great here, definitely great. Yeah, and that's it. Like, I've got about 6 weeks left then, and then I get my tag. So that's like the main thing when I get out is get back to any meetings.
So you were doing recovery
before I come in, yeah.
Done well to do that in the community as well, lad, do you know what I mean? Because I find it very, very hard in the community with certain people around me, so congrats, do you know what I mean? Hands off to you, fair play.
So when you guys both came to prison, what was that like coming from the drugs on the outside to then, coming in? What was that like?
There's nothing worse, because obviously you've got them withdrawals. You're just thinking, I'm in the worst situation in the world. I'm worse off than everyone else. But once you get yourself stabilised on whatever medication you're going on, or if you're not, and you're going to do your withdrawals, your head comes round to it. Do you know what I mean? It's a very daunting thing coming into prison, and I'll say that to anybody: do not come to jail. It's not a good place to be. But if life's dealt you them cards and you come in, just keep your head up. Don't let people see you down, and always ask for help.
I'm wondering, what have you got waiting for you when you get out?
What I've got waiting for me when I get out is, the main thing is seeing my little girl again. And that's why I'm going to keep on track with any meetings when I get out. Because I used to go to 3 a week before I come to prison. I used to go to work, come home from work, and I'd go every Monday, Wednesday and Friday. And you're in a group of about 20 addicts. And it really inspires you and it keeps you going for the whole week. So when I get out, that's what my main thing's going to be. And then I'm going to get myself back into work straight away. And just
What's the job?
Warehouse work I do. Like, I used to work over in Kellogg's for about 7 years.
Is that locally?
Yeah, it's on the industrial estate. I was a machine operator there.
It's quite a good get.
Yeah.
Good jobs over there.
Sadly, messed up drugs. I used to take, I used to go into work off my head on a night shift, and then
Operating heavy machinery.
Exactly.
How much would you do when you went to work?
I'd just take about 2 grams in with me, keep me up all night. I've laughed the lads in work, and it just turned into going home early from work, go to the shop, get some beers, and stuff in the next night off from work, not going in. You did too much on the come down. It really does ruin your life. It does. It takes everything away from you. And you don't realise it. You're like, I don't know.
You don't think you've got a problem, do you, at first?
don't know.
I found that, people are saying to me, you've got an issue.
Boredom as well.
And I was like, no, I'm fine. And there's nothing wrong. I just use now and again. But then you step back and take a look, don't you? And it's like, right, I've seriously got an
Being
issue.
in prison has made me realise I had a massive problem.
Yeah. I think that's what did it for me as well. I got out in March. It was March the 24th, and I must have been back in by the 14th of April. Because when I've got out, I was living that chaotic. I was like, right, I need to put myself back in prison here. Do you know what I mean? I need to get this help because I weren't getting the support out there. So that's how I seen it. I thought, right, if I go back here, I can get some help. I can get off my method. I can have that time off it. I got a 2-year sentence, so that I see that as that's a sufficient amount of time to get my head around it. To live off the methadone, to get used to living off that methadone as well. Sometimes it can benefit you, sometimes it doesn't. It depends how you make it. You can make your jail hard, or you can make it easy for yourself. And I'm hoping I'm going to choose to make it easy for the rest of my sentence, innit?
Yeah.
I mean, but yeah.
So is heroin.
Yeah, that's my drug of choice, yeah.
In terms of the progression, it was. I heard you say that it went from weed and then was it immediately then to heroin, or was it?
Any drug. So I find so people say, oh, MDMA is a gateway drug. No, any drug is a gateway drug, and it's as simple as that. It's not, oh, I'm going to smoke weed. Yeah, so just because you smoke weed and you're saying I'm never going to touch nothing else, that don't mean you're not going to touch nothing else. Because if that weed runs out and there's something else there, you're going to take it. Do you know what I mean? Anything is a gateway drug. I progressed from, it went from, say, weed to the likes of cocaine, to then pills, Gary's, all them, going to raves and little things like that. And then, it just progressed to me being involved with the wrong group of people and just being in, I think it was 2 factors. It was the situation that I was in and the people I surrounded myself with, and then my mindset at the time. And I just thought, F this, do you know what I mean? This is what I'm doing. Do you know? And then I just thought this. Do you know what I mean? And just thought, wow, this is the situation I'm in. And then when I was in that situation, I was just I couldn't. When you're in that hole, you can't see any way out. And that's what I did. And then I just kept digging myself deeper and deeper and deeper, and it just got worse and worse. And then police robbing cars, burgling houses. I'd rob my own nan for 20 quid for for a fix, do you know what I mean? And that's the sad thing about it. She was my world, and like I'd never want to do that to her, but the stuff I put her through was wrong, do you know what I mean? And I know that now, and I know what I've done out there, it's wrong. And I think once you come off the drugs, like I've found, now I've been off these drugs for so long, I'm sitting there and I'm thinking about these things, I'm thinking, wow, I was a disgusting human being back then. Do you know what I mean? And that's what wants to make me get my help. Not just that, but my kids as well. I want my kids to come and find me when they're 18 and go, wow, he sorted his head out here. Do you know what I mean? And that's what I want for them. I want to be able to provide them with something. I know they're okay now, but when they do come and find me, fingers crossed, innit?
Well, that's really when your recovery begins, isn't it? Once you're off the substances, because then your thoughts and your feelings start coming back, don't they?
And as I said before, you've got to deal with them thoughts and deal with them feelings rather than bottling them all up and using to hide them. That's the mistake I made, and it was I can hold my hands up, that was the worst mistake I ever made, was bottling my feelings up.
Like when you're addicted to something, you just don't give a fuck what anyone there.
No, you don't give a toss.
Nothing.
It numbs you, doesn't it? It takes away that thinking, and I guess your environment, the people you mix with, it becomes acceptable because that's where you put yourself.
Like my family, they're a well-off family. Do you know what I mean? They've got businesses, they've all got cars, they've all got houses. They're doing well for themselves. And I remember running out of Aldi one day with like a bag of chocolate or something stupid, or a bag of meat, and my uncle was standing there, and I've just carried on running past him, and I just thought, wow. And then 5 minutes later I was like, yeah, I'm not arsed. Do you know? But I would have never ever dreamed of doing that in my whole life. Do you know what I mean? But because I was in that mindset and I was like, right, this is getting me my fix, I weren't arsed. But it's just the things it makes you do, and the bridges it burns. Do you know what I mean? My own dad doesn't want to speak to me. My mum passed away when I was 4, so I don't have my mum, but 90% of my family don't speak to me. I think one of my little cousin speaks to me now, that's it. Do you know? And that's a sad thing to say, but I'm glad to hear you're rebuilding your bridges, mate, because that's one important thing, is you need a good support network around you. Like, I've found that, and with obviously with my burning my bridges, I haven't got that decent support network at the moment. I've only got drugs workers, SMS, probation workers and that, and it's not enough. I'll tell you that straight up. So good on you for rebuilding your family network, mate. Do you know what I mean? And
cheers.
I hope you continue down that line.
Yeah, I guess if you're ostracised from your family at this time, it's about maybe building a recovery family and finding people that have got the same kind of goals.
The same mindset, yeah. That's, like you say, the same goals.
Recovery community once you get out there, and in prison as well.
I find though as well, see with prison, some people say, oh yeah, prison was enough, it got me sorted, and fair play to them. But for me, when I get out, I am definitely going to be going to a rehab. Just to get that extra bit of support and that extra bit of time to learn to deal with the things, with the issues that I've had. I didn't have a very good childhood with my stepmom and that. My mum passed away when I was 4, and it was a bit of a rocky childhood for me. So I've got issues I need to deal with, so I'm going to be going that to deal with them issues. I'm going to be going to a rehab for that reason, and obviously, to learn to stay off the drugs, learn to deal with triggers, etc. Because if you don't deal with them, you're never ever going to stay off it. I find it's not like, oh, I'm not going to smoke that today and I'm going to stay off it for the next year. It doesn't work. You need to deal with the underlying issues first.
So you're 9 months at the moment?
Yeah, 9 months clean, yes.
What is the difference between day 1 to 9 months in?
Day 1 was hell. It does get easier. You've got to put the effort in yourself, though. You have to put that effort in, and you have to want to do it.
What does that look like? When you're white knuckling, what are the methods and the tools that you use in to actually get?
Mine was engaging with other people that were addicted to drugs, people in recovery. If I was bored at night, I felt like I wanted some coke, I would text someone from the NA meetings, and they'd phone me for about a good half an hour to an hour, and then you get that sort of inspiration to get you through your day. And then I got myself a job, and then that kept my mind off it. And then I just wanted to save up, get my car back again. I wanted to get back on track in life.
So you're having goals?
Yeah, having goals. Yeah, you've got to have goals as well. Got to want to do it as well. Not just go because your family want you to go. You'll never do it otherwise. You've got to lose everything to change.
Yeah. I mean, having goals. I mean, that I guess that's the beauty of, well, for me, it was through a 12-step fellowship as well. You know, I didn't go to rehab, I recovered at home, but it is having that connection, getting into service, thinking about other people. Because for me, when I started thinking, and the guilt, the shame, the remorse and everything would start coming back, the only way I knew how to deal with that would be to use. And that's what kept me in that vicious cycle for so long. Every morning you kind of wake up and you're like, how did I get here again? Never, ever again, never again. And then come mid-afternoon, it would be so painful in my head that the only way I knew to shut that down would be to use again. And you think, all right, tomorrow, I'll do it tomorrow.
Tomorrow never comes.
It never comes. But once you start mixing with other people and you're saying, this is how I'm feeling, they're like, yeah, I felt like that too. You know, this is what I did. So, you know, you straight away have that kind of hope, don't you, that there's something else.
Yeah.
And keeping busy. If you're thinking about other people, you can't think about yourself. And it's that self-obsession, isn't it? So in the beginning, it was keeping myself busy, which I guess can be a drawback here. That, you know, because you are just left with your thoughts. And in the early days, I could not sit with my thoughts. It was just too much. That's why I'd use. So how you can do that in prison, I guess, is a challenge for you guys, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just be sitting in your own thoughts. But I guess being here, even though you're saying there's not that much work, you're with like-minded people, probably everyone in here.
Do you know what, though? If you come here, you can find something to do.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. You don't have to sit in your cell. You're not left alone with your own thoughts.
Yeah.
Do you know?
Yeah.
I find now I have a plan of what I want to do, rather like when back then I didn't have a plan, like you're saying with the goals.
Yeah.
I totally agree with that, because it's about setting a target for the future of where you want to be. Like, you know, 6 months, I want to be off the methadone. A year's time, I want to have a job. Do you know, it is about, I think that's a great thing. It is all about setting goals. It's about having a target and achieving them targets, but not big targets, you know, little steps, little baby steps, innit?
So to other guys that maybe just arrived in prison and stuff, and they are sitting with their thoughts and their feelings, what advice would you give to them?
That's just arrived in prison. I would say get yourself into whatever team that is available in prison. Get yourself to a social worker in prison. Ask to be put on some sort of drug rehabilitation wing. And yeah, just try and keep away. If people are offering you stuff, keep away from it. Stay away from them. Like, I'd rather be in my cell all day on my own rather than be around twice.
Yeah,
Let
okay.
people do it.
I'd say, obviously, as soon as you come in, let them know you're withdrawing, or, you know, so they can get you on some sort of medication if that's what you want. You know, get yourself involved with the SMS worker. Ask your SMS worker what groups are available for you. Obviously, join them groups. You know, even if you don't feel like going, just go and see what the lads are like. You know, 9 times out of 10, you get a good group of lads. You know, find an officer you can talk to. Find someone you can vent yourself to. Don't sit there with your thoughts and feelings. Another one, don't get in debt, because that is just, it's a road to nowhere. Don't take spice off no one. Not like that. Don't do no double bubble, and just keep your head down. Yeah.
Okay, brilliant. It's inspiring, guys.
Okay, I really enjoyed this conversation, and I hope you did too. I found it very interesting to hear from Macauley about what it was like to be on the autism spectrum and recovering in prison, as well as what the experience of being transferred was like. Autism in prison is a recipe for a very bad time, and I hope he manages to continue tapering off methadone smoothly. And to Adam, who by this point will have hopefully been released, I'm wishing a strong recovery for you too, and enjoy the time with your daughter. Coming up in the next episode, we have Marcus, where he sits down with 2 old acquaintances. Stephen, or Sten, the Celtic warrior, who we've spent time with when he was a resident over at Penryn House at North Wales Recovery Communities. You may recognise him from our films Trails of Recovery and The Recovery Expedition. And Brendan, who is the son of Marcus's old friend with whom he used to use with. This one's definitely worth a listen. Anyways, that's all from me for now. See you next time.